Okay, try it now, man.
Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Man, don't test it, man. That's why the mic's not working, because you're spitting all over it. Come on now, don't spit, man. Just start. Okay, just a minute. Let me see if it's on.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Okay, we're on. Go.
Oh, okay.
Hey folks, Coyote Duran here. It is Friday night, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. on the West Coast, and you're listening to the premiere episode of Road Food with Coyote Duran. Welcome. I'm sure some of you folks saw my teaser video on YouTube on Saturday, and you're wondering what exactly road food means. Well, when I was younger, I used to hang around a lot with my buddy Jeff. We lived in the same neighborhood. He lived a block away from me, and we used to play guitar and bass guitar together and just hang around and do all sorts of goofy stuff as kids do, teenagers and whatnot. And we were big fans of hard rock, heavy metal, and I was sharing a magazine with him. It was a guitar magazine, and I can't remember necessarily if it was Guitar for the Practicing Musician or Guitar World. And we came across an article in which Jakey Lee, the former guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne, was featured. After the Ultimate Sin album, he was fired by Osbourne's wife Sharon, who's also his manager, and he went on to form Badlands, a hard rock band featuring the late great Ray Gillen on lead vocals, Greg Chaisson on bass, and Eric Singer on drums. Singer currently plays for Kiss. Well, Jake was asked in this particular article what his favorite road food was, and I thought that was interesting. I'm like, road food? What exactly does that mean? Is that the stuff that you have while you're on the road, on tour, little roadside cafes, snacks that you get from the Circle K or the 7-Eleven? No, it actually stood for what music he listened to while he's out on the road. So, that meant whatever cassettes or CDs that, he was digging at the time, what he would take in his car with him when he was going from point A to point B, or whatever. So Jeff and I, we started adopting that term whenever we'd go from point A to point whatever, or point B, whether it was a concert or a party or what have you. Hey, what tapes are we bringing? Are we bringing any CDs? And then that would be that. That's where road food comes from. So what we're going to be doing on this show is sharing my road food basically from the journey that has been my life up to this point. And I encourage people to talk about and share their road food as well, because life is always going to be a journey. It isn't about the destination. So this is all about my road food, and my food as far as my audible food going throughout my life. I'm going to be sharing songs that you've probably heard and probably enjoyed. I'm going to share songs that you've probably heard and forgotten that you liked or forgot about altogether. And I think one of the most important facets will be the songs that none of you have heard, or maybe few of you have heard, and you're like, wow, this is just insanely cool. So to kick off this premiere episode of Road Food with Coyote Duran, I wanted to share the single, the lead-off single, from Badlands' self-titled album in 1989. The song is Dreams in the Dark on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Shot
after a pretty successful tour in 1988 in Japan, the band Dokken had put together an album celebrating that tour called Beast from the East. It only had one studio single on it that was accompanied by a video for the song Walk Away. And that song and video almost seemed sort of prophetic in a sense, because tensions within the band contributed to their breakup ultimately. Things weren't going well between lead singer Don Dokken and lead guitarist George Lynch, so George went on his way to form his own band, Lynch Mob. And in 1990, Lynch Mob released their first album called Wicked Sensation. Dokken's drummer, Wild Mick Brown, followed him to the project. They enlisted Anthony Esposito on bass, and at the time, Ani Logan on lead vocals. It was an amazing album from top to bottom, just incredibly catchy and hooky and amazing tunes. And I remember buying the cassette. It was a Tuesday because, obviously at that time, I don't know if that's still the case anymore, all books and magazines and music and movies, I believe, were released on Tuesday. I went to go pick up the cassette from the local mall, came home, and I talked to my buddy Jeff about it. Back to Jeff. And he asked me how it was. I said, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm waiting for you to get off work so you can get home and we can open this sucker together, pop it in the tape deck, and enjoy it from the gate. And we did. That's exactly what we did. I went over to his pad. We went over to his room, cracked open that tape, threw that sucker in the tape deck, and the first song, Wicked Sensation, just caught us. I mean, it was mind-blowing, like a tornado ripping through a trailer park. So, in celebration of Lynch Mob's debut album, Wicked Sensation, here's the lead-off single, Wicked Sensation, right here on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
That's growing in my veins. Well, I'm
I've always said that if you're a fan of King's X, then you truly are a fan of King's X. Anyone familiar with the band knows that they are one of hard rock's longest and most enduring power trios, and for very good reason. They've never really been accepted as commercial. They've been more progressive hard rock than anything. And they've put out so many amazing albums that just reflect a continually evolving style. They came out in 1988. Their first major label album was Out of the Silent Planet, a very, very good record, but it wasn't really accepted too highly commercially. But they really were put on the map with their follow-up in 1989, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. I think one of the reasons that album did so well was because of its single, Over My Head. Now, Over My Head's not necessarily lyrically challenging, but I think a lot of it had to do with the frustration of lead singer and bass player Doug Pinnick's upbringing. He was raised by a very, very devout Christian great-grandmother, so he often had to keep his own musical taste buttoned up. So a lot of that comes out in Over My Head, which is really emotionally and just sonically put out there. You know, thanks to Doug's very soulful singing, his thumping bass line, and Ty Tabor's very violinic and soulful guitar playing. So, in celebration of 1989's Gretchen Goes to Nebraska and my absolute love for King's X, here is Over My Head on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Can't you hear it? I hear it, don't you hear it? Listen, it's all around me. It's everywhere. Oh, Lord, she was singing, just like yesterday. I'm talking in my sleep. Oh, I can feel it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
If you've ever heard of Sweden's Shotgun Messiah, you are truly, truly awesome. After they came to America in 1989, under Shotgun Messiah, they really did only about 4 years of work together. Their debut album, Welcome to Bob City, was remixed and renamed under Shotgun Messiah as the debut album in 1989. But their second album, Second Coming, really brought a lot of eyes and ears to the party, thanks to their single Heartbreak Boulevard. That tune had a lot of airplay, I think primarily on MTV, and that was the first place in time that I saw it and saw the video and heard the song. And other than Tim Skold's awesome vocals, Harry Cody, the lead guitar player, he really stood out as a true talent. You know, he was definitely a shredder, but he also played Gibson Les Paul Juniors with double cutaways and single cutaways, and he could just wail. In 1993, they did break up, and Cody went on to continue session work for guys like Stu Hamm, a very renowned bass player, and then he started working on TV, film, and commercial scores. And he's still doing that to this day. So, here is Heartbreak Boulevard, a very pounding tune. It's awesome, it's catchy, and I hope you dig it on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Which way to go?
although they've been around for a long, long time and have recorded and performed for many, many years, I think a lot of people sleep on the Hollies. You know, certainly they're not the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, but as far as the Beatles are concerned, I think the Hollies match them pound for pound as far as their eclectic nature for which they recorded and, wrote songs. When I was a pup, I had discovered the Hollies later thanks to my mom and dad, listening to them on the radio or giving me their records to keep me out of their hair. The one song that really caught me and that really, really made me a Hollies fan was 1972's Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. It was a single off of the 1971 album Distant Light, but Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress was released 2 days before my first birthday in 1972. Yeah, sure, they put out a lot of great hits. Carrie Ann, He Ain't Heavy's My Brother, Bus Stop. Now, Bus Stop is a jam. That's a great, great song. But Long Cool Woman, there was just something different about it. The three-part harmonies were missing. There was that catchy guitar hook at the beginning that Alan Clark wrote, the lead singer, which I do believe, I might be wrong on this, but I think that's the only studio song that he played lead guitar on, or maybe even guitar at all. I could be absolutely wrong, so if there's any of you listeners out there that are willing to correct me, that would be great. But there was also something very grimy and very swampy and truthful about it. Plus, it told a story, not unlike other Hollies hits, but this one had a real dangerous feel to it. So from the album Distant Light, here's the Hollies, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress, on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Yeah.
do not like Whitesnake. Can't stand them. Never have been able to stand them. And, you know, it's not that they're not a bunch of talented musicians. I mean, throughout their existence, they've just been stocked with talented musicians. But there was just something about David Coverdale's vocals and just the weird offbeat sexualization. I mean, here's an example. I think it was for the Slip of the Tongue tour. He said they were considering naming their tour Glands Across America. Yeah, okay, whatever. But it's the same thing. I mean, it's like the same trope over and over again. Whether it was in their songs or their videos, this is just not for me, man. They just did not speak for me. Until 1989. The album Slip of the Tongue came out. It was the first that featured Steve Vai, another guitar virtuoso who is still doing his thing to this day, never loses his touch. He's always innovative and inventive. But he joined the team then in 1989, and they came out with the Slip of the Tongue album. And the song that got me was The Deeper the Love. The lyrics open, "When I look back at everything I've done, I know you must have cried a river of tears." And I'm like, wait, what? Who wrote this? What the hell's going on here? I'm like, this is coming from the same cats who've done Here I Go Again, which they love playing at the local grocery store. It seems like every time I step into Woodman's, that song starts playing just to spite me. And just all the other hokey videos, but this song was magical. And to this day, it is the only Whitesnake song that I like. So off of 1989 Slip of the Tongue, here you go, The Deeper the Love on Road Food with Coyote Duran. Speaking of Whitesnake and its talented musicians past and present, it brings to mind guitar player John Sykes. Now, Sykes played with Whitesnake, and he recorded 2 albums with them, Slide It In and Whitesnake, the self-titled album from '87. Well, after that album was released, Sykes was fired, and there have been myriad reasons as to why, and I guess it depends on who you ask on any given day, but a lot of people think that he was fired due to trying to wrest a little more creative control within the band. Now, after he was fired, he put together a power trio called Blue Murder, which was comprised of John Sykes on lead guitar and lead vocals this time, as well as Vanilla Fudge's Carmine Appice on drums, and Tony Franklin, a bass player who's best known at the time for his work on Jimmy Page's The Firm. They recorded their debut album, self-titled debut album, Blue Murder, in 1988, released it the following year, and it's an incredible album. 9 songs, every single one of them is incredible. And they're even more incredible by knowing the fact that John Sykes really didn't want to sing on this album at first, but he was convinced to do so, and he was having a hard time at first, but kind of like eased himself into it. And you would never believe that he was such a novice at the time, because his vocals are killer, especially if you consider Valley of the Kings, the lead-off single, which that received some serious airplay on MTV. The video, very cinematic, it kind of harkens to ancient Egypt, so just an incredible performance video as well. But the second single, Jelly Roll, that one was curious, because it's a really fantastic mid-tempo ballad, very acoustically flavored, very bouncy rhythm, but there is no jelly, nor is there any roll in this song. There certainly weren't in the video, and there's no jelly roll altogether, but it's a dynamite song. So if you were, listening to the tune expecting, oh my gosh, we're going to be talking about jelly rolls here, you're going to be wholly disappointed, especially since this is a show called Road Food, and there is no food or jelly roll or any of that sort of thing. But I'm rambling. So here from 1989's Blue Murder, this is Jelly Roll on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Of my heart. Now I'm standing all alone here and my world just fall apart. Heartache coming my way. Angel, feel like my dying day. Feel like my dying day. I don't need no doctor, I don't need no priest. All I need is my baby girl to bring it on home to me. I just need a loving each and every day. Only she can set me free and take my blues away. Scream to the heavens, my God, make me strong. No one can hear me, my love, she is gone. What can I say? What can I do? Baby, I tell you, my love belongs to you.
If you would have told me 15 years ago that English hard rock band Def Leppard would have recorded a song with a country music star, I would have thought you were nuts. But 14 years ago, that's exactly what happened. On their 2008 release, Songs from the Sparkle Lounge, the very first single was a collaboration by Def Leppard and Tim McGraw called 9 Lives. Apparently, Tim's manager, Robert Allen, is the brother of drummer Rick Allen, so it made it easy for them to get together. But what resulted was an incredibly Def Leppard-esque Def Leppard song in which McGraw fit perfectly in. It was amazing. It's a fantastic tune, and it ranked on country and rock charts, so you got to give it up for them. And it was seamless. It wasn't contrived. It wasn't messy. It wasn't silly. Tim McGraw, I'm sorry. He's the 6th member of Def Leppard. You know, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but that's just me. So from 2008, Songs from the Sparkle Lounge, here's 9 Lives by Def Leppard featuring Tim McGraw on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Is your luck enough? Is your touch enough? Come on, girl, can you keep it up? Is your bluff enough? Are you tough enough? Is your stuff enough? Can you start it up? Are you sharp enough? Let 'em roll, let 'em go, let 'em fly. Took a chance on a chance, but the aces were high. Get it on, give it up, give it in. You stole the wages of sin, got to be in it to win. 9 lives, 9 times to die. I've been bitten once, but I won't be twice shy. 9 lives, 9 times to die. Come on and show me your hand, 'cause it's your turn to cry. Have you lost your touch? Are the stakes too much? Did you spin the wheel? And could you close the deal? Yeah, yeah. Let 'em roll, let 'em go, give 'em style. Took a chance on a chance, but the deuces were wild. Get it on, give it up, give it in. You stole the wages of sin, 'cause you're in it to win. 9 lives, 9 times to die. I've been bitten once, but I won't be twice shy. 9 lives, 9 times to die. Come on and show me your hand, 'cause it's your turn to cry. Hey! Let 'em roll, let 'em go, let 'em fly. Took a chance on a chance, but the aces were high. Get it on, give it up, give it in. You stole the wages of sin, got to be in it to win. 9 lives, 9 times to die. I've been bitten once, but I won't be twice shy. 9 lives, 9 times to die. Come on and show me your hand, 'cause it's your turn to cry. 9 lives, 9 times to die. I've been bitten once, but I won't be shy twice. 9 lives, 9 times to die. It's Russian roulette with every roll in your dice. 9 lives is all you're gonna get. I said all you're gonna get, yeah. 9 lives, 9 times to die. You just live a lesson, y'all. 9 lives.
Speaking of country music, the 1990s were a really interesting time for the genre. And I believe they had a lot to do with the musicians trying to get away from, you know, the certain traditional sounds, you know, for lack of a better description, the tear in my beer type stuff. You know, maybe the high lonesome sound type, you know, business. And they wanted to go toward a more mainstream and, in some instances, rock or even dance, if you want to compare, the latter with the likes of Shania Twain. But there were acts that came out in the early 90s, as early as 1990, maybe even 89 if you want to consider Garth Brooks, who brought an arena rock sensibility to the genre. You had Travis Tritt, you had Joe Diffie, and you had Marty Stewart. And Marty Stewart is one of my all-time favorites because he still could entwine rock in almost kind of like rockabilly thrown in with country and just make it absolutely palatable. And one of my favorite albums of his, among the many, was 1996's Honky Tonkin's What I Do Best. And I thought it was a great album, although it wasn't even, it wasn't commercially received, and I know we go back to commercially received a lot, but it was just a great slab with so many amazing cuts. The title track, of course, it was one of his several collaborations with Travis Tritt, but one of my favorite songs on the album is You Can't Stop Love, a more higher tempo love song that just rocks, and the story in it is just, it's something that you can really hold close to you, and it makes you feel good, but because it explains the power of love, and it's a song that should endure to this day, and in a time when there's just so much division and sadness and strife, and now we're even on the cusps of, war expanding in places in the world right now. We need songs like this, and we need sentiments like this more than ever. From 1996's Honky Tonkin's What I Do Best, this is Marty Stewart's You Can't Stop Love on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
It's greater than the world, wider than the sky. It's strong enough to make mountains crumble or make a grown man cry. It can melt the coldest heart, but broken things together finds what is lost, doesn't count the cost, and it goes on forever. You can try to drown it in a sea of tears, lock it up in chains for 1,000,000 years, run from it, hide from it, one thing's clear: you can't stop love. No, you can't stop love. It's freer than the wind, it shines out in the dark. It's bigger than all of heaven and earth, but small enough to fit inside your heart. You can try to drown it in a sea of tears, lock it up in chains for 1,000,000 years, run from it, hide from it, one thing's clear: you can't stop love. It's something that you can't forget. Throw it away and find regret. Go ahead and fight it and give it your best, but you can't stop love. No, you can't stop love. Try to drown it in a sea of tears, lock it up in chains for 1,000,000 years, run from it, hide from it, one thing's clear: you can't stop love. It's something that you can't forget. Throw it away and find regret. Go ahead and fight it, give it your best, but you can't stop love. No, you can't stop love. No, you can't stop love.
After such a feel-good moment, it's time for me to ruin it up a little bit. I'm sorry. But sometimes you just gotta have some gratuitous sex in your rock and roll. And sometimes you just gotta have a whole bunch of guest stars showing up in your song. Canadian rock band My Darkest Days. They had a tenure for about 8 years, I think from 2005 to 2013, but they only recorded 2 studio albums. Their debut album, their self-titled album, came out in 2010 and boasted a song called Porn Star Dancing. I know what you're thinking. Really? You capped on Whitesnake a few songs ago, but you're going to let this one go? Look, this one is just a forward-moving rock song. It's got Zakk Wylde of Black Label Society and Ozzy Osbourne wailing on lead guitar. It's got Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of Nickelback. You'll take that for what it's worth. I like him. And Ludacris. Yes, the rapper Ludacris. It's a catchy tune. It's probably their most popular song, and they've got a good catalog of tunes, so kick back and enjoy this one. This is Porn Star Dancing off of My Darkest Days 2010 self-titled album on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
My friend Cassandra, Jessica won't play ball. Mandy won't share her friend Miranda. Doesn't anybody live at all? Amanda won't leave me empty-handed. Got a number from a bathroom stall. Brandy just brought way too much baggage, and that shit just gets old. But I got a girl who can put on a show. The dollar decides how far you can go. Those hands around that pole, she licks those lips and off we go. She takes it off nice and slow, 'cause that's porn star dancing. She don't play nice, she makes me beg, and she drops that dress around her legs, and I'm sitting right by the stage with this porn star dancing. Your body's lighting up the room. I want a naughty girl like you. There's nothing harder than Space is gonna save herself from marriage, but that's just not my style. She's got a pair that's nice to stare at, but I want girls gone wild. But I know a place where there's always a show. The dollar decides how far you can go. She wraps those hands around that pole. She licks those lips and off we go. She takes it off nice and slow, 'cause that's porn star dancing. She don't play nice, she makes me beg, and she drops that dress around her legs, and I'm sitting right by the stage with this porn star dancing. Your body's lighting up the room. Now want a naughty girl like you. Let's throw a party just for two. You know those normal girls won't do.
They won't do, I need a girl that's kinda frisky. Drinking with the fellas, taking shots and getting tipsy. Always wanna party 'cause she's sexy as hell. And if I ever get in trouble, bailing me out of jail. 'Cause she a stone cold stunner, hotter than the summer. When she step up in the club, every man and woman want her. She make me wanna get a stripper pull up in my home. 'Cause a porn star dancing has got me in the zone.
She wraps those hands around that pole. She licks those lips and
Now, folks, when you think of Native American rock bands, who comes to mind? Well, I suppose if you're old enough, you'd probably think Redbone, best known for their single, Come and Get Your Love. But, to be honest, they weren't a full-blooded indigenous band. They came from mixed Mexican and Native American heritage. So it wasn't until right around 1998 when I was really surprised to discover the group Indigenous. It was a family effort, I believe, 2 brothers, a sister and a cousin. And they put out blues rock music reminiscent of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. The first album I got of theirs was 1998's Things We Do. They put out several records later, but it wasn't until 2003's self-titled album that led off with a single called You Turn My World Around that I was blown away. Because if you didn't feel and hear the influence of Stevie Ray Vaughan on this band, especially the lead singer and guitar player Mato Nanji, then I don't know what you were listening to. This one really brings it home. It is an absolute up-tempo banger. The vocals are just so blues-soaked and with it. The guitar playing is just second to none. And this whole album was a wonderful effort, but this single really shone. I mean, it was amazing. So, right now, off of Indigenous' self-titled album from 2003, this is You Turn My World Around on Road Food with Coyote Duran. So I realize I've used the word prodigy already in this episode in reference to Marty Stewart and his mandolin skills when he was but a wee lad. But I'm going to use it one more time in reference to Eric Gales. For those of you who don't know who Eric Gales is, he is a blues rock guitarist who had played for quite a few years with his older brother Eugene, and they led the Eric Gales Band, and they released their first album in 1991, the self-titled Eric Gales Band, and then they released Picture of a Thousand Faces in 93. Now, what really made Eric special was the fact that he played left-handed, although he was a right-handed player. He was taught by his brother Eugene how to play left-handed because Eugene was a left-handed player. But here's the crazy quirk. They took regular right-handed guitars and then flipped them to the other side without flipping the strings or saddles. They played them just so. So as soon as they were done, a right-hander could have picked up the guitar and played it. That's really difficult to do. But apparently, Eugene, who played bass that way, taught his younger brother Eric how to play that way, and he never questioned it. He never questioned why the strings weren't flipped. He was just taught that this was the way it goes. So like I said, young guy, 16 or 17 when he came out with his first album. And then 1993, Picture of a Thousand Faces came out. And that was the difference maker for me. A friend of mine, good buddy of mine, John, who I used to work with, we were quality assurance inspectors. We would get together and, drink beer, watch the Three Stooges, and then jam in his basement, He introduced me to this album, and it just blew my mind. It changed everything for me in regard to, how he was perceived before. To me, this was the big effort, the big album. And it led off with a song called Paralyzed, which, of course, became a charting single. And it was blistering from the gate. It has this great fade in, and it's just ripping from the gate and then slams into the just amazing rhythm, just incredible bass line. The playing, the singing, it's everything all in one, and it's incredible. So off of the Eric Gales Band's 1993 album, Picture of a Thousand Faces, this is Paralyzed on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Take
Two brothers. One of them a front man, the other a hard-rocking shredder. Where have you heard this story before? Oh, the previous song. Well, years before the Eric Gales band got their engines running and their cars moving, there existed How To. Not like how to, like a how-to book or This Old House. How, Roman numeral 2. How To. It was a band comprised of Albert Howe and his brother Greg Howe. Now, Greg had already been established in the minds and in the stereos of guitar aficionados. He'd been signed to Mike Varney's Shrapnel Records, basically the home of a lot of virtuosos and, really heavy guitar-centric albums and musicians. Just a great haven for that type of genre. Well, they decided that they were going to put together a group and maybe kind of do something a little more mainstream, and they did succeed to a certain point. Because one day on MTV, I saw the video for High Gear by How To. And there were the Van Halen comparisons, because Albert, the lead singer, sounded a lot like David Lee Roth, and maybe that was his intent, and then therein lie the comparisons to Van Halen. Although, if you break it down to brass tacks, Greg Howe's style is different from Eddie's. Yeah, there are similarities, but he's got his own style, and anybody can pick it out of a hat, if they're paying attention. How To didn't last very long, but this was the song that really made a mark on a lot of people, and a lot of it had to do with the mainstream distribution via MTV, and I'm pretty grateful for that, because without that video, fewer people would have, seen Greg Howe or heard his licks and, bought his stuff. So, off of their self-titled debut album, this is How To High Gear on Road Food with Coyote Duran. The 1980s were a heck of a time for musical collaborations, and the king of pop, Michael Jackson, wasn't above partaking himself. From 1981 to 1983, Jackson got together with, of all folks, Freddie Mercury of Queen to demo several duets, one being a single titled State of Shock. Now, stories vary whether one believes scheduling conflicts threw a monkey wrench into the efforts or Mercury just plain couldn't deal with the certain personality quirks of Jackson's. Be that as it may, State of Shock took a different direction when Jackson re-recorded State of Shock with Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, who reportedly was obsessed with the idea of working with Jackson. Naturally, Jackson was riding high on the success of Thriller, so when the Jackson family's collected effort, Victory, was being recorded, the revamped version of State of Shock was a natural fit for the album. Not for nothing, I drank my first wine cooler to this song, and at the time I felt like a true badass. From 1984's Victory album, here's the Jacksons and Mick Jagger with State of Shock on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Just so look at me, look at me. You got me in a state of shock. Look at that. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Oh, look at me.
When I first heard I Just Wanna by Kiss in 1992, the first thing I thought was, this opening line sounds an awful lot like Eddie Cochran's Summertime Blues. You know, I'm gonna raise a fuss, I'm gonna raise a holler, versus I got a body built for sin and an appetite for passion. Couple that body built for sin portion with Melanie Griffith's line from Working Girl. I have a head for business and a bod for sin, and, well, maybe I'm just overthinking things, but you can't deny that 1992's Revenge album was absolutely killer. It was stripped down kick-ass rock and roll that harkened to the days of a no-nonsense kick-ass Kiss. But this incarnation presented itself in black leather and no makeup. Also notable is the fact that past member Vinnie Vincent, whose previous tenure in Kiss didn't last long, co-wrote 3 songs for the album, one of them being I Just Wanna. Vinnie's attitude once again went over like a lead balloon, and his contributions immediately ceased afterward. This tune was released right around the time I was working as a third shift cashier at an X-rated bookstore, so naturally, I played it loud every chance I got while at work. Good times, man. Off Kiss's 1992 album Revenge, my favorite Kiss slab to date, here's I Just Wanna on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
I got a body built for sin and an appetite for passion. Yeah, I can see the road to ruin and I'm looking for some action. I got my finger on the trigger and a match to the fuse. I'll make someone an offer that's too big to refuse. Tired of trying to be what I'll never be. Baby, you
according to the sundial out on the prairie, it looks like it's time to call a halt to the proceedings. Before I play you out with the final cut of the episode, I'd like to thank you all for dropping by and hanging out with me on your Friday night. And hey, road food isn't just great on a Friday night. You can always help yourself to leftovers on Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, but I wouldn't hold out too long. After all, I'll be dishing up another repast of the past and present on next Friday's episode, served up fresh at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Pacific. So don't forget to come hungry and always mind your table manners. Hopefully you're enjoying the show on your computer at home, streaming it on the YouTube app through your TV via your Roku, on your tablet or your mobile device. However, if you're enjoying the show while driving, just remember that you don't have to look at your screen. Just listen. You don't have to watch road food, just keep your eyes on the road, dude. That was pretty good, wasn't it? Anyway, our final cut brings back the subject of Vinnie Vincent. After he was bounced from Kiss after the Lick It Up tour in 1984, Vinnie took some time off before forming Vinnie Vincent Invasion, a project in which his shredding abilities could really shine. Vincent enlisted Dana Strum on bass, Robert Fleischman on vocals, and Bobby Rock on drums. Fleischman didn't stick around too long, so after their self-titled debut first album from 1986 was recorded, Mark Slaughter came on board to replace Fleischman. Slaughter's style was so similar, he filled in the role of lead singer in the video for Boys Are Gonna Rock from the first album, one on which Slaughter didn't even sing. Mark got his chance, however, in the 1988 follow-up All Systems Go. So as I send you off to enjoy the rest of your night, please enjoy one of my favorite Mark Slaughter sung tunes from All Systems Go, Naughty Naughty. See you next Friday night on Road Food with Coyote Duran.
Dressed to kill, she's on the time.